do you need to show comparisons of products or packages that share a similar set of features? Well, I'm going to show you 3 different ways with 3 different, slightly different shapes of data. So let's get into it. Okay, so here we are in a SharePoint site. So we have this feature comparison spreadsheet. Not going to go through all the different data at this stage, but just suffice to say that we have 3 different shapes of data, all very much the same data in the end, but we have a matrix that's shaped by features, a matrix that's shaped by packages, and a kind of a more normalized package feature list. So what we'll do, let's get the data into Power BI. Existing access, copy that. Let's go to my little SharePoint URL cleaner. Awesome. Okay. So let's go to Power BI. So what we're going to do here is import from web. I find this is usually the easiest way to do it from SharePoint. And we're going to bring in these 3 different tables. So as you can see here, slightly different shapes. And we'll go through each of those. All right, let's load her in. Okay, so let's tackle this package feature list first. So let's just have a quick look at this data. So really what we're seeing here is a list of packages, you could say products, and the features that they exhibit. So what this is really showing is only those features that exist for a particular package. So you don't necessarily have a matrix here, but essentially a matrix is actually what we want to show. So let's go back to the report, and we're just going to try and build these things up as we go. Okay. So let us add a matrix, right? Makes sense. So here, first of all, what we want to do is go to the package feature list, and we are going to add the feature into rows. We're going to add the package into columns. So this is kind of what we're looking for. So feature, all these different features across all these different packages. And then let's put the value of, so here we have first feature, right? So let's take a little bit of a look. Whoops. Over here. All right. So that's kind of, that's sort of already starting to look a little bit like what we might want. However, what we don't want are some of these nasty totals, right? So let's get rid of those. And also what we actually want to do is start to show these things a little bit more fluidly with some icons potentially. So let's go into here, into the formatting, and we're going to go into cell elements and icons here. So we're going to turn this on, and then it's going to pop up something for our rules. Okay, so here we're going to go rules, and we're looking for the first feature, and what we're going to do is change this so it's actually only the icon. We don't want to see the data at all. And let's choose something else here. Let's choose ticks and crosses, right? So if the value is, well, actually, let's say if it's not blank, then let's make it the tick. If it is blank, then let's make it the cross. Let's see how that goes. And then we'll get rid of this third one here. So we just knock that one off. How does that look? Okay, that looks kind of cool. So here we can see that Basic's only got the one, the feature 1. Enhanced has features 1, 2, 3, and 4. Enterprise has all, and Standard just has the 2. Okay, looking good. All right. So now let's add a filter so that we can actually then start to see, whoops, let's not do that. Let's click off that and then create a filter. And let's put the packages in here. So here we go. And so really now we can start to see, just the packages that we want. So basic, enhanced, etc. Now, what's kind of interesting, you see here, this isn't quite right, because if I just say basic and enhanced and I take out enterprise, well, all of a sudden I can't see feature 5 and 6. Enterprise is the only one that actually has those. So what might we do to actually improve that? Okay, so let's actually create another table here. And what we're going to do is actually just take a distinct list of all of the features. So let's go in the modeling here, new table. And we're going to call this features. And we're going to say that this is distinct, and it's package feature list feature. So that then should give us a list of 6. So let's just go to the data there and have a look. There we go, 6. So now really what we want to do is also make sure that that shows up in here. So in our matrix, what we're going to do is change this feature here to actually be feature over here. Now, what that may not do is work immediately. Whoops, feature there. Fix this, right? So let's go, and actually what we need to do is make this a little bit smaller so that we can see we need to make feature go to package features list. And what we probably also want to do is actually get rid of these, because these aren't really relationships that we actually want. Let's get rid of those. Okay, let's go back here. Aha, right. So now what we're actually doing is linking the feature, this overall features table, to our package feature list, and we are putting that into the rows here. And so if I now say just basic, okay, that's still showing that, right? That's not quite right either. So one last step that we actually need to do here is in our matrix here, and when we're looking at the features, we actually need to make sure that we say show items with no data. So if I say basic here now, aha, awesome. Standard and enterprise, awesome. So now what we have is essentially the model of what we want to see with all 3 of these. Okay, let's move on. So now let's go to the feature package matrix. So let's have a look at this data. And this is probably a little bit like you would expect, to visualize this data in truth, right? Because this actually looks like a matrix that we want to show in our visual. But it's not actually quite that simple when you're trying to model it with a visual. So This looks all good, but let's see how it actually behaves. So if I, for instance, were to put a matrix here, let's just see how it looks. So, oh, well, I can't really, can I? Because look, I've got basic, enhanced, enterprise, feature, standard. Okay, so well, my packages, I can't really put those in there. And also, if I try to do this as a table, I might be able to do it that way. But really what I need is to get this data to look a little bit more like the data that we had before. So what we're going to do is actually do something that a lot of people would then play around with in Excel, but we can just do it in Power Query here. So let me just move this window over. So all we're going to do here is actually take all of these packages, essentially, and what we're going to do is in our transform menu here, we're actually just going to unpivot these columns. And what we're also going to do is just change this attribute to feature. Oops, sorry, package. Okay, there we go. And so let's close and apply that. So this is the feature package matrix. All right, let's see how this works. So again, let's go features on rows. Okay, looking good. Package on columns. Right, good. But now, again, the data is slightly different here, but let's go with the values. Values as values. Okay, that's not quite what we want there, is it? So that value there, I wonder if we can do this slightly differently. Let's have a look at the data type of value here. That's true or false. Let's make that text, because really what we want to be able to do is use this slightly differently. So now let's go back to value, and here, can we actually use, yes we can, first value, because what we actually want to do is take the text here. So again, okay, and let's go through the icons again and see if we can get this to work. So we have the rules, first value, first, again, let's say is, so now we're saying is true. Then let's make it a tick, is false. Let's make it a cross. And let's get rid of this one. So the difference here is that we actually have a true or a false for every single permutation here, which is a little bit easier because it means that we then don't need to worry about the full feature list, because essentially our matrix is built out. So let's see how this works. Oops, I forgot to change that so that it's icon only. Alrighty, looks pretty good, looks the same to me. So now let's get our little filter and let's pop the package in there. And again, let's just take a quick look. So basic, enhanced, enterprise, standard. Okay, looks good. Let's move this one up, because now we're just going to do the final one and take a look at the package feature matrix. So this one's slightly different again in terms of the data. So now this is just flipped the other way. It's basically pivoted just the same way. Oh, sorry, this was the other one. Package feature matrix. Sorry, it's flipped the other way, just pivoted. All right, so let's again go with a matrix. And this time we're going to do pretty much the same thing again. We're going to edit this data, edit the query. And we're going to take all the features this time and we're going to unpivot those. Unpivot columns. And so instead of package here now, this is feature. Cool. And so if you notice, we've actually got exactly the same thing again, but really all we've done is flipped it around. So hopefully this should be pretty straightforward. Should be pretty much the same as what we did the last time. Column package contains a duplicate value. Aha. So, okay, so what's going on here is that we've ended up with some more relationships that we don't want. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Can we apply that now? All right. Thanks, Power BI, for having my back on automatic relationships. Okay, so now, all right, we're back to our matrix. Features in rows, packages in columns, values in values. Oh, same again. Right, let's go over here. Value, true and false. Let's change that to text. Alrighty, all good. And so now we say first value gives us a true and a false. Let's go to column headers and get rid of those. A little bit glitchy here. There we go. There we go. All right, and then back to our icons. Turn that on. First value, icon only. If value is true, then it's our little tick. And if it's false, then it's a little cross. Okie doke. Hey, hey. All right, back to our little filter. Let's just add another one of those. And we're putting package in here. So then, beautiful, just as before. Right, so in theory, if we take, I don't know, enhanced and standard on all of these, they should all look basically identical. So one more thing that we can do with the package feature list, you'll notice there's a URL field there. So what we're actually going to do here is add the URL to the row headers. And so what you'll see now is we actually have these examples here, but we want to try and improve the look of that a little bit. So first of all, with the URL field, what you can actually do is change the data category here from uncategorized to web URL. And so what that should then actually do is start putting a hyperlink there, which is cool. What we can also do though in here is take a look at web URLs and turn that on. And oops, sorry, URL icon. That was actually what I was looking for. And we're in the row headers. So what that will actually do now is just make that into a little icon there. But actually what we want to also do is, so if we expand all of this, what we really want to get rid of is this sort of stepped layout. So that's another little thing in here. So if we turn this stepped layout off, then actually what we then have is a nice sort of flattened out view. So these URLs will actually take us off to those different areas. And the last little sort of piece of the puzzle is actually to get rid of the plus and minus icons here. So if I get rid of that, so then this whole area looks a little bit more neat. So there we go. So that's 3 different ways to actually model this data, 3 different ways to shape it using Power BI features, and another little tip there just on getting your URLs or multiple row headers to work nicely and in a reasonable format, at least with the standard matrix. Obviously more can be done with different visuals, but just using the standard matrix, this is about the best you can do.